As you might have figured out by looking at me, I'm no expert at running. But I want to become an okay to average level runner. But how do you actually progress with running? How do you become better at it? Can I take some of my lessons from the weightlifting world out into the running world? Yes, I think so. When you strength train, you use something called progressive overload. You increase the amount of weight you lift gradually. Since the body is a master at getting used to the levels of training, the body needs to be challenged. The trick is to do this progression in a slow pace, not throwing on too much weight too fast. I think the exact same mentality goes with running or any kind of training basically. You need to gradually increase the resistance in your training. Challenge your body in order for it to become stronger and better at something. What you need to be mindful of though is taking it slow. And this is extra important for someone like me that is overweight. Running is much more taxing for an overweight person. You put so much extra pressure on your body. So just to go out and increase distances or pacing way too fast is almost a suicide mission. I need to be smarter and have a proper plan with my running training. Last year, we started running with the end goal of running 10 kilometers in a slow and manageable pace. We managed that in October last year. After that, the focus shifted a bit from running and instead spending more time in the gym, but not completely abandon it. Me and Teresa went out on some runs during the winter, just to maintain some conditioning and keep being used to go out and run. But since I have a couple of different running goals this year, we have really stepped up the running training the last couple of months. First, I want to be able to run 15 kilometers. And then also 21 kilometers. I think this will be very manageable if I just take it slow. The more difficult quest is running faster. I want to someday be able to run 10 kilometers in under 60 minutes. In order to achieve these different goals, we have at the moment 2 different running sessions per week. One where we run longer and longer distances, and one where we instead run shorter distances but faster. And in the same way as with the strength training, I think the way to go is to increase the resistance very slow. If we take a look at the long distance sessions first, we started at 5 kilometers some months back. Then we added 0.5 kilometers every week, not increasing the running pace, only the distance. Right now we have worked ourselves up to 9 kilometers, which is feeling really nice.
Today it's long distance, 9 kilometers is the plan. We're at, oh shit, water. We're at 4.5, so halfway there. So far, so incredibly good. Woo!
We are even able to have a slightly faster pace than our 10 kilometer run from October, which is a great bonus. On our speed days, we instead aim to go faster for a shorter distances or time. We try to run close to a 6 minute per kilometer pace, which is the pacing we need if we're gonna be able to run 10 kilometers in under 60 minutes. We try to run that pace, for example 3 kilometers, a way shorter and more intense session. So to summarize, at the moment we have 2 running sessions per week, one for speed and one for distance. I'm a firm believer of taking it slow with the progression, and doing more running than this at this exact moment could impact me negatively, I think. And even if you have never run, you can start by doing this slow progression. Start by running 30 seconds for instance. Then the next time you try 35 seconds, or run between 2 light posts. And the next time you run between 3 light posts. Keep the progression slow. Don't start with a too high goal. Ease into it. It's better getting out doing something than nothing. I'm also taking it slow because I'm wary of the injury risk. I don't want to get hubris and go too hard with myself. I want this to be manageable for a long time. And let's talk some injuries. I have, fingers crossed, never gotten any real injuries from training. I think a lot of that comes from me being quite smart with the long-term progression and also being good at listening to my body and especially locating weak spots that I can fix. Last year, when we trained to run the 10 kilometers, I would often feel a discomfort in the backside of my legs, the hamstrings and butt. I figured out that my backside was underdeveloped muscle-wise if we compare to the front side. I hadn't really been doing that many good isolating movements for the backside, and as some of you may remember, we named this year, 2024, the year of the ass. And that stemmed a lot from finding my weakness when running. I needed to upgrade my ass basically. One of the exercises we introduced was the Nordic hamstring curls. It's extremely difficult to do without any aid, so we're training it with resistance bands. I just want to take a moment to show the incredible progress that Theresia has done. She also started with resistance bands. The other day, she tried to do one without any bands. She's getting very close.
Fy fan vad bra! Jesus! Nej. Åh fy fan! Åh vad det är! Det där är sjukt!
So damn impressive. Inspirational to see. And lo and behold, ever since we introduced all the new exercises that focused on the backside, I've had zero issues when running. I have so much more power in my legs today than last year. The year of the ass is really paying off. Big time. But I have found something that I really need to focus on. When I run at higher pace, I can feel some discomfort in my ankles and on the outside of the shins. Not the bones themselves, the musculature. After watching some great videos from awesome runners sharing their tips and also trying out some movements in the gym, I found out that my feet, ankles and calves are not being trained properly. Since being overweight the majority of my life, I got, well, blessed with very big calves. I've never felt the need to train them. They have always been huge, so it felt a bit like wasted time. But when you're training calves, for instance, you're also strengthening your ankles and feet, something I've never really done. So starting this week, I will be adding a bunch of foot, ankle and calf exercises, which I think will help my running incredibly much. It's never my conditioning that hinders me running fast, it's always my legs that get fatigued. And it comes when I increase the pacing. The body is not used to it. I never feel anything when we run long distances. 9 kilometers in a slower pace is no worries. That is pretty easy. But as soon as we increase the pace, I can start feeling my feet becoming a limiting factor. I hope that this realization will work wonders on my running. I'm so pumped to try out these new exercises. Look forward to some amazing balancing training coming up on this channel. Another thing that would really help my running is of course losing some more weight. And that is a big part of the plan. After losing a bunch of weight last year, I've been standing mostly still the last couple of months, when really focusing on strength training in the gym. Now it's time to start another weight loss quest. So if you take a look at where I'm at today, we can see I weigh 123.9 kilos. The first step is to lose 4 kilos so that I'm sub 120 kilos. And then I'm aiming to lose another 10 kilos, which will make me sub 110 kilos. I will do follow-ups during the year so we can track this quest. I will go through some diet stuff in future videos, so stay tuned for that. And another quest that I'm on, and one that will aid both with the weight loss as well as the running, is my walk to Mordor quest. I want to walk the total distance that Frodo and Sam walked on their adventure to Mount Doom. It is a total distance of 2,863 kilometers. I want to do it before the end of the year, which means I will have to walk an average of 11 kilometers per day. The first 7 days are done. Let's see how it went. After 1 week, I've gotten a bigger respect for the distance the hobbits walked. I for sure thought I was close to Bree by now. After 94.4 kilometers, I'm still in the Shire. Just gotten past the farmer Maggot's crops. And right about now, Farmer Maggot will sell me out and point the Nazguls my way. With the Nazguls hot on my trails, it's time to set off towards Buckleberry Ferry in a haste. I'm super hyped about the walk to Mordor quest and all the running that is being done. I never knew I could find running fun. but I'm starting to feel it. I've always been a little afraid of it since it's something that skinnier and more healthier people are doing. Running has always reminded me of my shortcomings in the training world, but not anymore. I'm so ready to work hard towards becoming an average runner. Thank you all for supporting me on this adventure. Love you all, and remember that you are awesome. Woo-hoo!